Hello, everybody. This is Angel Arts, and welcome to episode number 18 of Dragon Age Resurgence. We are back with the full crowd once again. Lots of stuff has been going on since the last session, and we're just going to dive right into it because today's session, I told the players, are going to be relatively packed. So, for today's warm-up, um, again, we haven't done this in a while, and I like doing this every so often just to get a pulse. So I do want you guys to pretend that you're writing in your journals. A lot of stuff has been going on. A lot of very controversial things have been going on. A lot of people have gone through a lot of changes and probably have a whole assortment of things, thoughts in their heads with the events, whether it was Theobin's resurrection, whether it was Mass Effect, whether it was everything and anything in between. So take a moment to think about, hypothetically, you don't have to necessarily decide this to be canon, but at minimum, hypothetically, if your character were to write in their journal at this moment, what would their journal say? And if you'd like, as usual, I can stall by you guys picking a NPC character that you want me to give the journal on that you haven't chosen before.
Those few who are left.
Hugh,
They're dropping like
Hugh,
flies.
Hugh. No, just kidding.
You can pick Hugh if you want.
Uh,
That might be really interesting. Esbjorn.
Esbjorn. Not the bear, Esbjorn.
No.
Connor's been around for a lot of his stuff. It'd be interesting to see his point of view.
Yeah, that's true. Dear Diary, well, to say that a lot's been going on lately is a bit of an understatement. First off, Theobin was dead, and now he's alive. So yes, that was the thing. I'm not really sure that everybody is actually happy about said bringing people back to life. In fact, I'm pretty sure that pretty much everyone in the group, for the most part, is unhappy about what happened, including Theobin. Cedric surprisingly seems to be taking things relatively well. Hasn't been brooding as much as late. Andrea and Hallie, there seems to be a little bit of friction between those two, which is really sad because they seem to be very close, and hopefully things will resolve between them. Theobin, man, I can't even begin to understand what's going through his head. I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask him, but I feel like doing that would be really insensitive. And to be quite honest, I don't think he'd be able to answer half of the questions I want to ask him about, I guess, his experience. Nor do I necessarily want to know, I guess. Ken is really taking things really harshly, not just with the whole resurrection thing, but just her brothers in general. I talked a little bit with Andrea about what I should do about that, because I want to be there for her, and I want to give her what she needs, but I was really, really worried about whether or not she needs advice, or she just needs somebody to listen to, or support, or if she needs me to back off. I'm not sure. I think whatever it is that she's doing with her brothers, she needs to figure out with her brothers, and I just have to make sure that she knows that I'm there if she needs someone to listen to, or someone to, I don't know, have a shoulder to cry on. Make her knows I've had my share of needing those as well. I hear, though, that we're going back to New Denerim. And to be quite honest, that is one of the most frightening things that we would probably do in this entire adventure. I've been avoiding that place like the plague for the longest time. And it's been pretty easy since, the Spire is not that close to Ferelden at all. But the idea of me actually walking there again, seeing the place, seeing how it's changed, and not recognizing anyone there anymore, I feel like it's going to be familiar yet alien at the same time. And that really frightens me. I don't know what we'll find. I'd like to believe that things over at Redcliffe or New Denerim are better than they were before. I definitely didn't help matters. But anyway, Kenna says I can't dwell in the past, and I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to go in and take it all in, because really, that's what a brave person would do, and I want to be brave. Not only for Kenna, but for me too. And I think I owe it to my mom and my dad and everybody that I loved. Uncle Tegan too. I think I'm done. And then he ends the entry there.
All right. Yeah, diary, I guess. Writing. A lot of things have changed. I'm free, and I can make my own decisions and fight for my own morality for the first time ever. And it doesn't seem to matter because every time we make a decision, we seem to change our minds as soon as it fits our willy-nilly desires of that day. I looked in the eyes of a boy who is no more than 18, and I told him to let his mother go. His mother is dead, and I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what it feels like to lose your people, and this poor boy lost his, and I told him to let it go when he has the ability to bring them back. And then, of course, lo and behold, the very next day, my friend, dies, and we bring him back because apparently we're more important than these children who lost their parents for some reason. And I understand we're supposed to save the world or whatever, but what does it even matter if we have no real standing? If we don't stand for anything, then what are we? And now we're going home. And home as in Ferelden. I haven't really been there in a long time. And I have a lot of people who I've lied to who are waiting to meet me there, so we'll see how that works out. I'm sure Kane takes lying really well, and everything will go swimmingly, and nothing will go wrong at all. And we'll pick a king, and he will be great, and it won't be Sevion. But in all seriousness, I'm very worried about what we're going to be doing. I don't know how we're going to handle the lies that I've been spinning like crazy. And I kind of want to see the circle because it's my home, and I'd like to go home. And that would be mine.
Let's pick a new ruler. Andrea, high or low?
A new ruler?
A new ruler, high or low?
Yeah, you just guess. High.
Yes. Okay.
To whom it may concern. So much has happened since my last entry. I've traveled to unknown places. I've seen not demons. I've experienced so much. There have been more resurrections. I have gotten my memories back. I've gotten my memories back. There was a point in my life where I would have given anything to remember who I was, where I came from, anything. But now, I'm not sure if it's really a blessing or a curse. I have learned things about people that, well, it could get a lot of people into trouble. But it is a burden that I must bear, because I chose to get my memories back. Another thing, I managed to convince the king, with the help of my friends, to shut down the resurrection progress. Something that is weighing on my mind. I gave up a personal grievance with a man who I so despise so that I would have this opportunity. And I am glad I did not waste that opportunity. But so help me, if I ever see Tralif Thompson again, I don't know if I will be able to stay my blade. I guess that's all. To anyone who reads this, may the Maker's warmth embrace you.
So, Theo is alive, but how he came back, I thought that I was against it, and yet here he is. Rosie has her father again, and we have our friend. What if I was wrong? I can't voice my doubt now. The research is done. We accomplished what we set out to do, and yet I feel this doubt that I didn't feel before. Regardless, it's time to move forward again, and now I have, well, I hope I have, my family at my side. I've made some big promises to them, and I don't want to let them down. I need to be stronger and smarter. For them, I need to be a leader. Courage and Lady give me wisdom. Also, I need to talk to Connor. Are we a we now? I'm not sure how to do this outside of the hold. If we were back, he would have to sneak me out of my hold and kidnap me, and otherwise he would be beaten or worse, fed to Esbjorn. But that's not, we're not in the hold, and the fact is that he's a mage in a tower, and I care for him, but to stay in a tower forever, I promise to my brothers and to my people and my gods. And what if that leads me away from him? I need a distraction. Time to plot against Theo. That's it.
Nice.
I don't like writing things down. Maybe I'll burn this after. These adventures that we have been having lately, they certainly put a lot of things into question. We are none of us perfect. I know that. I do not like this choice that I made. It goes against everything I believe in. But, as I said, if we are to do any good in this world, we need to sometimes we need to remind ourselves to ask ourselves the why of things. I think I've lost sight of that. It's hard to know what the right answers are. But we do the good we can. We just convinced a king to get rid of that maker-forsaken process. I don't know how I don't know how to proceed. And I think that's okay. I think that's good. I think that's more true to myself than I've been since meeting these folk. Again, whatever that is. There it is, isn't it? We return to New Denerim soon. The thought of coming face to face with the man who would have killed me, and the man who betrayed me, and the man who betrayed an entire settlement full of innocents fills me with righteous justice and anger. It will be very difficult to give him his chance to say his why. But maybe that's what I need for the greater good of things. That's what Andraste did. I'm done with this. And her page is probably, as she's fussing, going to combust by itself.
Yes. It's good to put thoughts on paper.
Theo has written this as a letter to his wife.
His wife. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it's to his wife, his late wife.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, it's me. It's been a while. I haven't spoken to you since the day I went through the Alluvion. Honestly, I've been what you think of me. The Darkspawn left home yet again. I faced some crazy adventure and unknowingly created a poison that could have killed the lieutenant. I don't know what you think because I don't know what I think of myself. You know that I met our daughter now. Thanks a bunch for not telling me about her, by the way, you insufferable perfect sod. Just need to talk to you because I've had so much on my mind recently. The woman on the ship said that biotics, they lose themselves mentally. The future ahead full of uncertainty. I wanted to know what that was like so that I could be ready for Rosie. And I'm at my end. And now I'm back. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. It's like a hole. I don't fit anymore. Cedric bugged me recently. He said that he was just an insignificant Templar. All as a group talked the king out of doing a project that Navarans had worked on for at least months. I never told him this, but when we were in Navarra on Sir Barris, he's a well-known Templar because he never raised a sword to help people. Diplomacy for peacekeeping. So when I met him, and when we were with the Dwarven mages. I thought he'd forget that. For a while, I've seen how he's changed since we last saw those mages. He's accepted a lot that many Templars wouldn't. And I haven't said anything to him because I've needed to get my head right, but I see a lot of good in him. I'm proud of him. And he won't believe it. I see him. Kenna, I've noticed, she's been the closest to me as any of them. She has agreed with my points of view more than anyone else in the party. She encouraged me to talk to Rosie both times. And I wish I knew how to communicate with her better. I'm not used to pranks and her method of communication, but I'm pretty sure it comes from a good place. I shall have to try to connect with her in the future. Andrea, to broach the subject of Tevinter, and it's been so long now. I don't know exactly what I'd say, but I know it's hard to believe when people say, I don't want to offend her. And to an extent, I don't. My best friend never became an abomination. My breath came at times. But I want her to know that I'm there for her. I just know that she's a lot and needs to be happy more than she needs to be reminded. I've been thinking about Halisera a lot. When she approached me before I died, I was hard to let her down. It was one of the hardest things I've had to do because such a deep, fundamental level that I wish it could be love. I wondered on the ship with and everything that maybe that had something to do with my response to Hallie. But I had these doubts and fears before. And honestly, to have the see again is probably a very Theo thing to do. I understand why I'm not here anymore. I deserved you until I know that. But I can't feel like you should be here. Bring my daughter with me. It's been years, and as I love you, I learned how to live without a wife. I'm worried that Rosie will suffer living without a mother. I promise I'll do my best for her. And for you. And for the family we never got. Good night, Angel of the Stone. Sleep tight.
So, Violetta's caravan is actually parked just outside of New Denerim. And as you guys make your way towards the entrance of the city, one of the things that you notice in New Denerim that they are doing is that they're starting to build a they're starting to build a wall, it seems, around the city, which is very similar to how it was in old Denerim. It's still in the early stages, though. But there are a few workers that are all working very hard, piling up blocks of stone and concreting them together, or whatever the version of concrete is back in the day. And there also is a wagon that is also about to make its way into the city. Some of the, I guess, guardsmen who are waiting by the windmill. The windmill is sort of like where the checkpoint is taking place. There's a gentleman who's speaking with the guardsmen right now, and virtually all of you probably would recognize this gentleman to be Viscount Sunworth, Viscount Maximillian Sunworth himself.
What a surprise!
David's like, yeah, I know. I am wonderful.
Hey guys,
Amazing.
roll credits.
Yes.
That's
Roll
the
credits.
end.
That's the
Should
end.
we be standing there like holding like a sword? Like you're Luke Skywalker and one of us is Rey, just like
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
As the camera pans around.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've been in
And the
hiding
viewers
for
are like,
18 sessions, sir.
He knows we're coming, right? I just say to the group, like,
Yes. So I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this to David. So, David, you received a letter. Was it from you directly, or was it supposed to be on behalf of Gwenail? How was this? I forgot how.
the letter that I know Wielden sent him a letter
Ah, yes.
talking about
So,
us.
correct me if any of this is not true. So you actually did, Maximilian, receive a letter from Lielden informing you that he has met up with an adventuring party of sorts, and one of the members of the adventuring party, I guess he'll explain to you first and foremost that they helped him with a very difficult quest that he had to take on behalf of the Divine, because he is the left hand of the Divine. They helped him take care of some demon problem, and he has found these people to be very formidable fighters and may or may not make a name for themselves in the future. But one thing that he wanted to inform you of is one of them was tasked by Cain himself to steal the magical items from the heroes of Ferelden. This person confessed that she was tasked to do it because she did not fully intend on doing it, but she was hoping to inform Lielden and the rest of you being Gwenail and Delwyn, that this is what Cain asked her to do, so that you could figure out what action to take because of this.
Hark, is there a PS? Also, she asked me out, and I totally said yes.
No,
Woo!
there was not.
If you have to kill them all except the Kunari.
And then draw hearts around her name, just like she
Yeah.
used to do with Wielden.
Yeah.
I quit drinking.
Mrs. Hand of the Divine, whatever.
Okay, so now thank you for reminding me. So Maximilian knows that. Not that I think Andrea could assume that he might have gotten the letter by now. Obviously, you don't know for sure, but you could assume if you'd like.
I hope we got the letter.
I hope he got the letter. Lielden said he was sending a letter, so it's not like I mean, we've talked to lots of kings now. Can we just go talk to him, or no?
Yeah.
Maybe Connor can make the introduction for us.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Right.
Maximilian in forever. It's good
That's-
to see that he's
It's more than we've seen him. Go on, kid. Go on.
okay. He will lead the group forward. Maximilian, you're just showing the guard your identification papers just to make sure that you're who you say you are. We live in a world where we don't have, fancy smancy television sets, so people don't necessarily know what the Viscount of Kirkwall looks like. So they can't necessarily just say, yeah, I'm the Viscount of Kirkwall coming in. So, are we doing a Mass Effect Caden thing where Connor walks forward and there's a shot of his Connor's hiney?
Can you see his butt through all those robes?
Oh.
He's been training with me. You better. No.
Oh, yeah, all those staircases, Connor.
Yes.
The stairs.
Those stairs. Buns of steel.
Yeah.
Buns of silverite or whatever. Looks better in my diagrams. Someone calls out to you, Maximilian, saying, my lord, Lord Sunworth. And if you turn, you will see Connor, of all people, walking to your direction. When you turn to his direction, he immediately gets down on one knee and bows. I don't know, or at least gets down on one knee. I don't know if everybody else will follow suit, but he probably will look towards Kenna's direction at least.
Are we
Bye.
up? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cedric would.
My lord,
Wow.
it's been so long since we've seen you at the... It's been so long since I've seen you. I take it that you are well, Connor asks.
Connor, I did not expect you here.
Yes, sir. I am here on business given to me by Gwendale.
I see. So he sent you then?
He did. I am here accompanying this group. We currently are trying to assess the situation here in New Denerim with the landsmeet and all.
Please rise. Who are these friends of yours?
Thank you, my lord, he says as he rises up. This, Kenna, from the Whiteveil tribe. This is Sister Halasair, warrior of Andraste. This is Sir Cedric Ashwood of the Templar Order of Navarra. Theobin of the Merchants Guild in Orzammar, and Andrea. She is a mage of the White Spire Circle. Oh, and that thing back there, he says, pointing at the tree. There is actually a Sylvan tree behind them. That's Owlet. He's friendly. He's fine. Owlet kind
He's
of
just looking
looks...
for a date.
I've seen Stranger Things. I have a werewolf.
But it's not a competition.
Is the bear with them as well?
No.
Or is there anyone? No.
No, I'm sorry. They didn't bring the bear with them. Oh, I know.
Oh no! I wanted to go so bad, but Owlet wanted to go.
The first thing he does is he walks up to Kenna. He moves Connor aside and moves up to Kenna, and he gives her a small bow and says, "My condolences, Avar."
Oh, thank you. Not many people realize what happened to us, or care. That's surprising, and appreciated.
I've been in the thick of things. I know how horrible it was.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
And a Templar, he moves up to Cedric and do the warrior salute, like you clasp his forearm.
Yeah. You're a hand.
Sir, Good to see you.
It is good to see you. I see you've done well for yourself. And he'll return your handshake.
I'd say so. And a Kunari. Now, this is a strange bunch. A Suckle Mage, you say?
Yes.
Yeah. Originally from Ferelden Circle, of course. I wanted to actually thank you, because I understand you and your companions cleared that out afterwards. So I owe you gratitude, so.
It's quite all right. And what was your name again?
Andrea. Pleasure.
I see. So, he was telling the truth then.
He?
I assume you're not here to steal anything. He says as he folds his arms over his chest.
Not the plan, but maybe this is better spoken of in a private place?
We are only here to steal the hearts of trees. Or at least I
That's
am.
true. That's true. This man is on a mission to find love.
Yes. I don't
He is.
suppose that the Lord Viscount happens to have many eligible trees where he's from.
I've seen a few. I don't know if they're your type. Now, this is the strangest conversation I had in a long time.
Yes.
Just wait.
And Theban. Theban, was it? Dwarf?
I also owe you a debt of gratitude for the aid that you gave Orzammar.
It was a hard-fought battle. But you dwarves held your own in the end. We merely helped.
We, Lord Sunworth, we also ran into King Kine during our travels as well. He sends his best, too.
I hope he fares well with all his wives.
He fares very, very well. I
don't know how he does it. I mean, I had my hands full with just one.
Did I hear my name? You hear a voice coming from the wagon, and you see a head pop out of a very beautiful-looking woman. And she says, "Dear, are you making more friends?"
The first thing he does is he turns around to the group and says, "I didn't say that." No one heard. Jody!
Gotcha.
I found an unusual group of adventurers, I believe. Reminded me of the old days.
Unusual group, do you say? You mean unusual by our standards or normal standards?
Normal standards.
Oh.
He was just in the middle of telling us how beautiful and magnificent you are.
Yes, what she said. He said, yes.
Tree! You hear another voice call out, and this face also pops out, you see, from another window of the wagon, and he's like reaching with his little hands. He's sort of like grabby with his little hands towards Owlette. There appears to be a seedling in that wagon. The tree says.
That is quite correct. This is my son, Nathan Sunworth.
A son.
Yes. We all gotta get hitched sometime.
Cedric, it's what happens when a man and a woman love each other very much.
With that, with Jody seeing that Nathan is sort of grasping towards the tree, she says, "You have a Sylvan over there. I take it that Sylvan is safe."
Safe and friendly and very fun to climb.
The ladies might want to watch out though. Lady trees.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or
Nate-
male trees.
Nathan, don't gawk at the thing.
Or male trees.
Nathan starts saying something you can't hear because it's too soft. And I don't know, Nathan. We have to get into the city, she says. Dear, Nathan really wants to get a close look at the tree. I don't think that's a very good idea, though.
How about? And he turns to the group. It's been a long time since I had the company of adventurers. These days, it's mostly diplomats and, well, politicians. How about my
Different battlegrounds.
Indeed, sister. And he sees Sister Halisa and he kind of bows as well.
It's returned.
Perhaps you could. What kind of estate do I have here? Do I rent something here or do I?
Yeah. So you do have quarters as a candidate of the Landsmeet. You do have quarters in the castle itself. So they do have a room for you.
Do you have a place to stay?
We've just arrived.
I could use the company of good adventurers. Seek me out when you enter the city, and I'll find you some quarters and some good company.
Thank you.
Good.
The Legion
Thank you.
spoke highly of you. It would be nice.
Did he? Did he mention my name? I mean.
Did he actually name?
Kind of like Jack kind of likes him a
I-
little bit.
I would think that he would give in all of their names. So
Yeah.
all of these names match the letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kick Theobin.
At this point, I can kind of imagine, Hallie standing behind Andrea and just like,
I'm just being honest.
Say yes. That's funny. Shut up, Theobin.
We
You
will
were preaching honesty, Andrea.
we will definitely seek you out, Viscount Sunworth. Excuse my companions.
If you still want us, jeez.
I'm sorry, I'm usually better. Just...
I've heard worse. Don't worry.
No.
My son Nathan will enjoy the company of younger people. If not in body, then in mind. Well then, if you excuse me, I have some matters to attend to. If you want, you can follow me to the city.
I think that might look good. Yes, we should do that.
Thank you.
That would be very generous, Lord Sunworth. Thank you, Connor says.
Yes. As soon as he looks at Connor, he's got this. All his like friendliness kind of vanishes for a moment, and then he like starts to. He takes a deep breath, then he smiles again and gives him a nod. If you would follow me.
Okay. You guys start to follow, and while you guys are going in, Connor is walking by Kenna, and he says, "He's gave me that look again. I was afraid of that.
What? I missed it.
Maximillian. Things between Maximillian and I, it's been very strained, I guess.
Because of what happened when you were little.
Yeah, exactly. Things got really dicey amongst, I guess, the group when they were trying to figure out what exactly they needed to do here. And I think, well, let's just say Maximillian didn't quite agree.
I see.
Yeah,
What?
things have always been really awkward between us. I was hoping that, I don't know, I could prove to be a really good mage, and maybe he'll see that things turned out for the best, but so far I don't think he's really accepted me yet.
It's only been a few minutes, Connor. Give him time to see what we all see in you. He'll come around.
Oh boy.
I give him a kiss on the cheek. Ah!
Oh boy, he says. As he says, oh boy, he like takes a hold of your hand, like almost immediately. And from where you're standing, you're up on a bit of a hill because the windmill is on a hill, and you can kind of see the lay of the land. And he says he says breathlessly, there she is. There's New Denerim, or Redcliffe. I'm back. And he's clutching your hand very tightly. He's clutching it very
I'll squeeze it back, comforting. You can do this. I've got you.
Thanks. It's good to see everybody, working and bustling about like any normal day. It's just, that's not how I remembered it. And he sort of shakes his head a little bit as if trying to shake off a really bad vision that he's seeing right now.
I sort of brush his hair behind his ear. It's okay, Connor. We can do this.
Yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go. And he'll walk. The rest of you have already walked by them, so they kind of let you guys move ahead, and Connor and Kenna will take the rear. So you guys are following the Sunworths in. You tell me what you're going to do, where you're going to go.
Well, I personally am going directly to the castle.
Okay.
It was in the castle that we confronted Connor, right?
It was. Yes.
Very fitting.
So it looks like the carriage is going towards the castle. So are you guys also going towards the castle too?
She has no reason not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Because we're
offered us-
following him, right? Into the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Owlet and Acorn stop and oh my god, this is it! So yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
You guys make your way to the castle. I think that Sir Sunworth will, when he talks to the guards, he'll explain to them that the people behind them are with him, including that tree over there. The guards, of course, will give the tree an odd look, but they're not gonna stop you. So they will allow you into the main entranceway of the castle. While you are in the castle, there are a few other guards there. Well, before that happens, you do actually see some other being emerge from a wagon where Maximillian was sitting, and that being is this guy.
Yeah.
There's Slim.
Yeah, my man.
So
I'm cool.
Clem is going to escort Maximilian. He's going to pretty much be attached to Maximilian's hip from this point forward, and the Jody and Nathan, she comes out of the wagon too, or the carriage too, and she has Nathan in her arms right now. Nathan is still, his eyes are still glued on the tree. he's still, trying to do this, and doesn't seem to be interested in focusing on anything but the tree right now because he's just so enamored by it. And the tree,
Understandably.
kind of continues looking at him, and meanwhile, Acorn, you probably didn't notice, but Acorn is no longer on Owlet. You probably gather that Acorn's still flying around, probably getting the lay of the land.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
She is being very literally his wingman.
Yes. Oh, Waxy. Not a bad place, this castle. They've cleaned it up pretty well since the last time you guys were here, I suppose.
Yes, full of memories, this place.
Yes. It's amazing how much they've been able to accomplish in the last... How long has it been? 5 years?
Yes.
Maybe longer than that? So, what is this about this Sylvan back over there? Didn't Delwyn uppercut one of those things back in the day?
This one seems friendly enough. Looking for love, as it is. Interested?
Me? Well, I mean, I like my ladies tall, but I think this one's a little too tall.
And not a lady to boot.
Well, they did have a Kunari. I'm sorry. I will stop trying to set you up with people. I know how horrible that is.
Yes, I think it's... Why is it that ever since you got hitched, the roles have reversed? Wasn't it supposed to be me trying to fix you up before?
It's much more fun now, my friend.
Right. Well, I have a job to do, and I can't distract myself too much.
Yes.
Because, you're so helpless and weak. We wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. That's why I'm sticking by your side as opposed to Jody, because she can actually take care of herself.
Oh.
Wow.
I heard that, Clem, Jody says. Do you disagree? No, I didn't disagree. Jody says, and she has a grin on her face.
As they're talking and laughing, he kind of leans into Plim and says, he lowers his voice and says, in all seriousness, though, keep an eye on the boy, just in case.
Of course. This is my nose always knows when trouble is around.
Good. Let me know if something happens. Now then, shall we try and enjoy the hospitality of New Denerim?
Yes, of course. The guards will then take you all into a side room. They have a little bit of a small, nothing fancy, like reception area where they have some wine. They have, both alcoholic, non-alcoholic beverages. There's like a cheese and vegetable crudité display that you guys can nibble on. And you do see that another individual is there with several guards of her own surrounding her. And she looks like this. This is Sir Cauthrian. Those of you who have played Dragon Age Origins know that Sir Cauthrian is a loyal servant to the throne in Denerim. She was the one who was helping out Loghain back in the day. And I think that it is relatively general knowledge that Sir Cauthrian is also a candidate that people are considering to become the next ruler of Ferelden. The Sir Cauthrian herself, she actually has a plate in her hand and with a few broccoli florets that have been very lightly dipped in some sort of dressing. She walks over towards Maximillian's direction and she says, Lord Sunworth, and she gives you a bow.
Oh,
I heard-
Sir Cauthrian.
I had heard that the council has also been considering you to be a candidate as the next ruler of this land. A wise choice.
I could say the same about you, milady.
You flatter me, my lord, she says. Thank you. But I think as track records go, you were the one who were able to actually stop the blight. I was only able to keep it at bay for some time.
Still well done. Let's see how this plays out.
Of course, she says. I trust that the rest of your family is faring well.
They are, for the most part. The traveling here was a bit bumpy, but we made it in good time. And I believe the quarters in this castle is more than enough for all of us.
Of course, she says. I'm sure we will be seeing a lot of each other over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Yes, no doubt.
Well, she says, I hope that you know that regardless of the outcome of this procedure, I am ready to serve in any way that I can, whatever is asked of me.
That is very good to know. You've always been a loyal servant to the crown, I believe, and I have no reason to doubt you now.
Thank you, my lord. You are too kind. And with that, she will continue back to help herself to some of the rest of the refreshments.
After I put all the food in my bag,
Always.
I'm gonna go to.
Okay, well, we'll say this. While you are putting, I guess, the vegetable and cheese crudité display into your bag, a male voice says behind you, enjoying the refreshments, I see. And the person who is speaking looks like that. Nathaniel Howe. I don't know if you know who Nathaniel Howe is. I'm not sure Kenna recognizes him, but he is.
Oh no, he doesn't know.
The way he is dressed in noble clothing, and his hair is long and currently long and tied in a ponytail. He's very, very clean cut at the moment.
She sort of spins around really fast. Oh, it's very good. Well, we sort of travel long distances, and you never know when your next meal's coming.
Really?
Sorry.
Does your sire not feed you properly?
Sire?
You're with Lord Sunworth, are you not? Or are you with Sir Cauthrian?
Oh, we're with him, but we just sort of arrived today. He's a friend? Acquaintance.
Ah, I see. Well then, some of those vegetables, you might want to save some for the rest of the guests.
Well, my bag's pretty full, so I guess I can.
He looks a little slightly taken aback by this, as if he's not really sure how to respond to this. But he says, yes, allow me to introduce myself. Nathaniel Howe. I am one of the members of the council. He says as he holds out his hand.
Kenna and Catherine of White Veil Hold. Pleased to meet you, sir.
White Veil Hold. Ah, so you're an Ava.
I am.
I see. I think that you will find that the events that will be taking place in the next couple of weeks could very well be very impactful towards what happens with the Avarian lands.
That's why I'm here. That's what I hear. That there's changes to be made, and I'd like a voice.
Well, if you are supporting Lord Sunworth, I hope that you have had plenty of time to appeal to him. He's going to have to make quite a speech about his plans and his intentions if he becomes ruler. So I hope that you keep him well informed.
I plan to. Thank you, Mr. Howe. Sir.
Of course, he says. And he will give you a bow. Nathaniel Howe, he will probably just like hang out and just peruse the room. He's not going to really talk to anyone in particular. Maybe Sir Caltherian will go up to him and chat with him at some point, but he's just perusing the room, just making sure that no one else steals all of the vegetables from the display.
How much of this is familiar to Halaser?
Well, you tell me. Has Halaser been to Denerim herself?
I figure she probably has.
Well, I'm just gonna say to found the biggest puff chair he can and just let it engulf him.
You're gonna find the biggest what? I'm sorry?
He'll find the biggest, puffiest chair he can, like...
Oh, the biggest, puffiest chair. Sure.
Yeah, and he's just gonna let it engulf him as he sits down.
Yes. You'll sink into this one chair. Not quite
Yeah.
drowning you in it, but it almost looks like the chair folds into itself as it takes this dwarf. How puffy and poofy it is.
Looks pretty good.
Kirk, do we know if Arl Howe is alive or dead?
Thinking along the same lines.
Roll a history. Roll a knowledge history, I think, is a thing.
14 for me.
Okay.
15 for me.
Halaser's not sure. Andrea believes that Arl Rendon Howe has been killed. Yes. He is dead.
Okay.
What would we know? I mean, I know we've encountered the name of Nathaniel Howe before, and I know that we should, I think, know that he is one of the judges.
One of the council members, yes.
Yeah. What else do we know of him from the shared childhood
So
and our journey since?
The Howe family has been known to be a relatively powerful family, but they have not necessarily been the most popular families. Not to say, I think that the general public believes that all Howes are evil or bad or no good. Maybe if you try to be above that, you might think that there are some Howe that are actually decent. Sort of like how maybe some people think everyone in Slytherin is evil and horrible. But some people might be like, there might be some decent, half-decent Slytherins in that house. Or there might have been some half-decent Malfoys that have come through that family. So I think right off the bat, at least for the general public, Nathaniel Howe was probably the least favorite pick. Even more so, way more so actually than Cain. Because Cain's been able to navigate it. Cain's popular.
Cain's charismatic. Yeah.
Nathaniel Howe does not have that asset, unfortunately. So he is constantly proving himself to be above what his family name might try to presume him to be.
Okay.
I want to talk to him. Yeah.
The next question, I guess, is I don't think he's been introduced to us directly. How recognizable is he?
How? Nathaniel
Yes.
Howe? You definitely would know him.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. I don't think you've ever spoken to him before.
No, probably not. Do we talk to Wolfie or do we talk to Howe?
Both sound good to me.
I know, right? You take one, I'll take the other.
That tree, Plim says as he's helping himself to a piece of cheese with his fingers, daintily with his fingers. He's talking to Maximillian. He says, that tree over there, I don't know, every time I look at it, it makes me want to take a leak.
I'm so glad he said that, 'cause I was thinking it.
Did I say that out loud? He says, turning towards Maximillian. See, this is another reason why I stick closer to you than I do to Jody. She probably would judge me way more than you ever would. And you're pretty judgy.
That's true.
Oh,
It's a good thing you're a strong, dependable bodyguard. So I'll have to put up with your jokes from time to time. That's okay.
He nods in agreement. I miss these characters. I'm sorry. But anyway.
That's fine.
We missed them too.
David's like, back in my day, our NPC banter was so much superior, so much better.
I didn't want to kill any of my NPCs.
Is Max and Plim together right now?
Yes. Max and Plim is together. Jody and Nathan are across from them. Jody is trying to, I think, cut up some pieces of carrots for Nathan. Nathan seems to be begrudgingly eating them, but he seems to be more interested in, playing with his food than eating his food.
I'd like
every
to go
now
over
and
there.
then, every now and then, Theo is looking over at Jody and Nathan.
Oh, okay.
Cedric would go over to Maximillian and Plim.
Yep, me too.
Hold it! Plim says as he gets in front of Maximillian.
Hi.
What business do you have to Lord Sunworth? He says as he puffs up his chest.
I put my hand on his shoulder and said, "It's all right, Plim. Good work."
I don't know, he says. There's something really off about this one, he says as he smells, pointing at Cedric. But if you say so.
Moving up in the world, I see Plim. Bodyguard to the Viscount.
Yes?
It's a
You
lot
two
better
know
than
each
the
other?
former guardsman.
How did you know I was a former guardsman?
I'll get to that.
Andre is just like...
Okay. At this point, Plim turns towards Maximillian and tells him very softly, "Okay, Maxie, now the red flags are really going up for me."
You don't know this person?
I've never seen him in my life. He doesn't smell familiar, but there's something about him that's off.
At this point, he's kinda moving his hand to the hilt of his sword. He just looks
Okay. Oh, okay.
very casually.
Casually.
So Cedric, was it? Templar?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Is there something you want to tell me, perhaps? I have never doubted my bodyguard before, and I have no reason to do so now.
Of course. Plim's senses have always been on point. Maybe, of course, you can bring your bodyguard, but maybe away from Sir Catherine and others.
Very well. Plim,
If it makes your bodyguard feel better, I can unarm myself.
I can handle you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Andrea's just like...
I think we all want.
When Maximillian says that, for anyone who's sitting next to Jody, she kind of goes, "Whew."
Andrea does too. She's like, ooh.
I have no doubt.
God, the shipping.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead,
Plim.
keep going.
Yeah, Plim.
All right, I'll go.
You can. No need to go with me this time around. Keep an eye out for. Keep an eye out on my family.
I'll go hang out with the lady then. And
Thank you, my friend.
he will go over towards where Jody and Nathan are. And Nathan is now taking a bite from his carrot. He was eyeing it for a little bit, and then he finally takes a bite and chews. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I
So-
kind of lead him into one of the corners of the building,
Yeah.
a bit away from the people.
Maybe a bedroom?
Maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe.
Nah. So, care to explain yourself, Templar?
A little while ago, you spoke with another Templar. You asked him if he wanted to change the world, and if he was willing to risk his life for it.
You know this how?
I have his memories. Liam's.
Are you certain of this?
Most certain. I have all of my memories, all of his memories up until his unfortunate demise.
How did this happen then? He kind of folds his arms over his chest plate again. Kind of suspicious.
Yes. It was not of my own choosing. But there was... It's a little hard to explain.
Try me.
I was brought back by mages.
Like a resurrection spell.
Yes.
I thought those only worked on almost dead or just dead people.
And if, in case you forgot, David, if you remember during the crossover episode with the Mass Effect people, you dealt with resurrection. You dealt with a mage, Quentin, who kidnapped Jody, Jody because he was trying to raise his wife from the dead. So you actually, in case you forgot, have first-hand experience with someone trying to cast resurrection. Go ahead.
While I'm not sure exactly how all the magic-y stuff works, but it's apparently a more potent resurrection spell that allows mages to bring back people who were long dead. Naturally, we shut it down, but...
You're like speaking like this is an widespread thing right now. Like mages can bring people back from the dead. What is this?
It was in Navarra.
Oh, of course.
Oh.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, are they just randomly resurrecting people now?
Oh,
or
Maker, no.
Is it?
We shut that down fast.
You get resurrected. You can get resurrected. You get resurrected. Everybody gets resurrected.
I don't know what the plans
Everyone-
were for resurrecting people, like how they chose, but speaking from first-hand experience, it is something that is not pleasant.
At this point, Maximillian is starting to pace back and forth a little bit, stroking his beard. I hope you realize that if this spell came into the wrong hands, that would be devastating. How many tyrants would rise again every time we kill them?
Exactly.
How many murderers? How many darkspawn? How this is serious news, Liam.